the doing setting up these campaigns. So a couple of sessions ago, we walked through templates. I just wanted to set the stage. So for this use case, we're using Cervelo Bank as a use case. They're looking to launch a campaign in the fall, and utilizing two reports that JB mentioned. They noticed, looking back last year around this time, MCP tells them they've got two different audiences. They've got credit card buyers and they've got mortgage buyers. And so they want to tailor their marketing differently to those two different buyers. A credit card buyer might be someone a little bit younger, maybe a new professional who's looking to start their credit limit, build their credit history. A mortgage buyer might be someone, in their 30s looking to get their first home, or might be a baby boomer looking to buy a retirement home. So two different types of audiences when they want to tailor their marketing. And using that action report, they can see those details. You can see that of all the visitors, there were two segments that were the most popular. And then also, like JB mentioned, this returning visitors report, they noticed that there were a lot of high volume of returning visitors. 42% of all visitors were returning. So that what Cervelo Bank wants to do is to render on their homepage a customized version of their tailored to those product interests for those two segments. So let's go into, we're going to go into the platform and just show how we're going to execute that by using campaigns. And before we go into the platform itself, I just want to walk through what has been set up and sort of walk through the experience that we're looking to build here. So what we want to do is we want to customize the homepage for that credit card or mortgage buyer. So when they return back to the homepage, they're going to see a customized hero image here. They're going to see a customized recommendation of products that apply to that specific segment. And then when they try to leave the site, a pop-up will come up that's customized based on one of those two segments. So let's say the first-time buyer, whether they're a credit card buyer or a mortgage buyer, visits the Cervelo homepage, and say they click into the mortgage page to look in some more information about that, that product set, and they just do some navigating. And let's say they just leave the site for a day, or even it's for an hour. We're just going to replicate coming back to the homepage. So what MCP does is you can see that homepage naturally got changed. So now we see this hero homepage image, which is tailored to mortgage loans. We've got a product recommender recommending 3 different types of products. And then if they try to exit the site, you can see this pop-up comes up, and it's tailored again to that mortgage segment, offering that custom mortgage information. Now, this is all set up by campaigns. So we've set up these templates. So now we're going to walk through how you would set up the campaigns in order to enable this type of functionality in these 3 areas: the exit pop-up, and then the homepage hero, and then these product recommenders. So let's go right into the platform and take a look how this is done. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is make sure that you're navigated into personalization, Marketing Cloud personalization. You want to make sure you're in that correct data set that you're looking to do. And then let's go into our homepage. And what we're going to do is we're going to log in using the SDK Chrome extension. We're going to click on this visual editor, and then that's going to pull us into Marketing Cloud personalization on the site itself. Now, this wheel is we're going to be spending most of our time on campaigns today, setting those up. But before we do that, in order to set up a campaign, you need to go through templates. Now, we have a whole YouTube video session on templates, but just to give some context, let's just take a look at the list of templates that we've got created here. So we've got different templates that are set up for the homepage experience. So if we click into this template, because this is what we're going to be leveraging when we create these campaigns. Just want to use this as a frame of reference. So this template, like we covered before, is rendering a custom image that's based on mortgage, and you can see the specific type that it's rendering as well. So we're going to be selecting this for our mortgage campaign. Just wanted to show you that example. Let's also take a look at another template, which are these recommenders, these product recommendations. Again, it's very simple, similar to that last template. what it's doing, it's offering 3 different types of product recommenders. So there's the product image here, here's the text. For checking account, for mortgage, they're going to also be served up credit cards, and they're going to also be reserved e-accounts. Again, those are those product recommenders, which are 3 across. That's the template there. And then the one last template I just want to call just a review before we go into creating campaigns is the exit pop-up, just because it's unique and it's something you'll see in the campaigns itself. And like we talked about before, this is a template that was leveraged, that was created by Marketing Cloud Personalization. We used it as a template. And this is where we're going to be filling out in the campaigns itself. We're going to be dropping in those custom images and text to render that tailored pop-up for both the mortgage and for the credit cards. And again, all of the detail is here. We leveraged most of the template that was provided by Marketing Cloud Personalization in that template area that we pointed out in the last session, and just made some minor modifications there. So thank you for bearing with me as we went through the templates. Now let's go into the campaigns and start creating some campaigns for this. So the first campaign we're going to want to do is let's create a campaign for the hero section of this homepage, right? So what we're going to do is we create a new campaign. We're just going to name it. So let's call this homepage hero test. Now here's where we're going to want to set up our rule. What is this going to is going to be rendered for a certain group of people? Now we've got audiences set up that we want to set this to. So if we select audience and if we select segment, we're going to want this experience to apply to either those who are in our credit card segment or in our mortgage segment. So here we're just going to select this drop down. We're going to navigate into these segments that have been set up to select mortgage, and then we're going to select credit cards as well. And just to give you a frame of reference of those segments, just like we talked about in our earlier session, we did have this set up in MCP. This is something that a non-developer can do. Let's click into this segment. If you go under user segments, we'll click into this mortgage segment, which we just selected. If you select edit, it'll give you a frame of reference of how we are determining who is in the mortgage segment. We've got 2 determiners here. We've got one, this is not really for this use case. It's for a Azure feed model that we're using to identify who that mortgage segment is. But for this use case, we've got it where it's based on an action count of anybody who has navigated to the mortgage page, like we showed you in that walkthrough. If they've clicked on that page at least once, then they're going to be dropped into the mortgage segment. So it just gives you a frame of reference for those mortgages, those different segments that we're adding for this rule, for this campaign. Okay, so once that you've got the audience of who you want to serve up this homepage hero experience, now what we want to do is we want to select the campaign type. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a rules-based test. It's not an A/B test. An A/B test would be for this general audience, we would, half of those people say would get a credit card experience, the other half would get a mortgage experience. But because we have very 2 defined segments, we're going to do this by a rule-based scenario. This is where we can carve out that experience specifically related to each of those audiences. The default is for this control to be 10%, but because we have specific dynamic content set up for each of these 2, we want to leave that control to be 0% influenced. Okay, so now we can set up our first experience. So for this one, we're going to select the rule. So again, we're going to add that rule. We're going to add that segment. So this is going to be just for the mortgage segment. So let's say we're going to select the mortgage segment is going to apply for this experience. If you're in that mortgage segment, we're going to be selecting that mortgage template. Now, again, this is that template that we had set up that's going to render that hero page, that hero image just for that mortgage segment. And that's it. That's pretty easy how you can set up those experiences. Let's add a second experience. This is going to be for those credit card segments. So we're going to select add rule. We're going to go here under audience. We're going to select segment. We're going to select the credit card segment. And then we're going to go back to the template. And here we're going to select the credit card template. And that's it. That's, if you've got your templates all set up, if you got your sitemap all set up, if you got your segments set up, this is the easiest part to set up those campaigns. And so what this campaign will do once it's active, it's going to render a custom homepage hero for the mortgage segment. And then if you're in the credit card segment, it'll render that credit card segment. So you would just save it, publish it, and it would go live. So let's just go in and take a look at the actual template that you saw live, the actual campaign that you saw live that was rendering. So we're going to go into this hero offer. Let's hit edit campaign. And you can see it's set up just exactly like we did. It's looking at a specific set of audiences. In this use case, we have additional segments that we have personalized as well. It is a rule-based test. We've got 2 experiences here that are rendering those different templates based on those segments. So mortgage and mortgage template. Okay, so that's the first campaign that we want to set up for that homepage hero. Let's set up our second campaign just to walk through it again for repetition. Here we want to set up a campaign for this product recommender. So let's select new campaign. We're going to name this product reco test. We're going to add our rule. This is the audience who we want to select that is going to have that experience. We're going to select the segments. We're going to select, this is going to apply for people that are in the credit card and the mortgage segment. And then we're going to select the rules-based test. We're going to select this back to 0. We're going to go into experience 1. We're going to add the rule here. We're going to select that mortgage segment. And this time, because we're using the recommend recos, we're going to use the mortgage recos template. Then we're going to go back in here. We're going to add an experience. We want to set this up for the credit card segment. So we're going to go back in here under that audience segment. We're going to select the credit card segment. We're going to add the credit card recos template. And that's it. Let's go back and take a look at the actual campaign that we created for the recommender banner. And here it is. So it's the same similar audience, very straightforward. For the credit cards, they're going to get the credit card recos. For the mortgage segment, they're going to get the mortgage recos. Okay. So those are 2 examples. Let's go into our third example, which is the exit pop-up, the last area that we want to have customized. So we're just going to create exit pop-up test campaign. We're going to add that same rule. We're going to add in those 2 segments. So we're going to select mortgage. We're going to select credit card. Okay, we're going to select rules-based test. And then here's going to be a little different. Let's select our audience just because the template is a little unique for this. So I wanted to walk through this one more time. So let's select this for mortgage. Okay. Let's add the template. Now there is a unique template for the mortgage exit pop-up. And then you can see this is the setup that the template was created, but in the campaign itself, this is where you're going to want to customize each of the pieces and the parts. So you can see the image here is not mortgage related, neither is the text. But let's just walk through how that is in this UI. It's very easy to set that up. So in Content Builder, in Marketing Cloud, in our folder of images, let's navigate to the image that we want to put in for the mortgage. So we've got this home loan image. We're just going to go into that image. We're going to copy that URL. We're going to go back in here and let's just paste that in here. And then when we navigate by clicking out of it, you can see that image is now in here. So that's as easy as that to put in there. Again, this template from Marketing Cloud Personalization is just wonderful. It just makes it so easy. So let's say mortgage offer headline. And you can see it just customizing that text. It changes right here. So that's how you would, in your creating your campaign, you bring over that template, and then you still need to drop in the image. There's a little bit of text and image work to set that up. I wanted to call that out. It's a little bit more different of a campaign setup than in the last example. And again, let's go into the actual campaign and take a look at how that's set up, just so that we can see it in its final form. One thing I wanted to call out as well on this is that this shows an example of a multi-rule use case. So for this, the pop-up that we ended up going with, we used that mortgage segment, includes mortgage, the mortgage segment. It excludes anybody who is in this mortgage suppressed segment. So we created this segment that if you receive this pop-up and you clicked no thanks, I'm not interested, then it doesn't render for you again. You're sort of identified as someone who may not be interested in this mortgage offer. And then we also have action if they've accepted or declined a pop-up. So here's an example of using a campaign with multiple rules. And then if we go into the pop-up template as well, you can see how this is all filled in. So when you navigate off of it, you can see there's that image that we brought in, and you can see the best banking is just a click away. That's what right here. So say if we went in here and just changed this to like and more, you can go and navigate it, and you can see that got changed in there as well. So again, it's like we said, the campaign part of it is very straightforward, really fun to put together. Depending on the complexity and the campaign itself and the template, there might be some work that you'll need to do to set that up, but it should be very straightforward from that standpoint. But it's all dependent on doing the homework to make sure that you've got those templates set up, you've got those segments set up, and then this is the piece that activates everything for you in the platform. So that wraps up the overview on campaigns. Just wanted to see if there were any questions on that functionality.
Thanks much, Tim. I don't see any questions. So we do have the full-fledged Ask Me Anything panel anyways next Tuesday. So be sure to fill out the form and be sure to join the next session. Even if you don't have any questions, you will be able to learn a lot by listening to the answers provided. So with that, I think we can wrap up this session.